Hey and howdy everyone, it's Jeannie with Paper Pixie Ink. Today I am doing another Christmas card share with you. So this is actually made using a lot of the same products that I used before in my last video, but I wanted to change it up. So this pattern paper is still from this paper pad that I got a couple of years ago from scrapbook.com. There's always lots of Christmas paper and or winter themed paper available at this time of year. If you are interested in card making, you may want to look into some of the like 6x6 or 6x8 paper pads that you can get from Michael's or Joann's. They usually have a nice selection and they almost always have them on sale. So you can get tons of pattern paper for card making for a really good price. So anyway, I created a card base that is it's a gatefold with a belly band to hold it open. So it just opens like this. And then I like leaving, for the most part, sometimes I don't, but for the most part, I like leaving my cards without a stamp sentiment on the inside of them, because I have a tendency, unless it's for, you know, people that I'm not super familiar with, I like to write notes to them. So this card is pretty easy. We're going to make this together. I pre-cut most of the things for it. So we're just kind of going to go through and I'll talk you through how I created it. So I started with a base. So this base is kind of the same as what you would ordinarily start with. This is an 8.5 by 8.5 piece of cardstock, and then it is, so this is 2 1/8 and 2 1/8. So when I go to score, this is 5.5 and 8.5, and instead of scoring at 4 1/4 right down the center, you're going to score 2 times at 2 1/8, one on either side. So when I do this, I put it on my scoreboard, and I will score it twice. So 2 1/8, and then I'll just turn it around and 2 1/8. So that's how I do it. I don't know if you can buy pre-made gatefold cards, maybe, but they're really easy to make yourself as long as you have some blank white cardstock or cardstock in really any color that you want. So I made my base that way. Again, this is Nina Solar White 100-pound cardstock. And then I just took a piece of the pattern paper and I cut them to 5 3/8, so 5 3/8 by 2 inches. And each one of these will just be placed on here like this. If you're using a pattern paper that, you know, is like this, then I recommend making sure that you have these lined up the right way so that they don't look a little skewed if you put them on. But that's just me. So those will go on just like that. And then for my belly band, I took some vellum. I would recommend a slightly heavier duty vellum if you're going to use vellum. Cardstock 65 pounds is fine, but in this particular case, this is actually, I'm going to use my scoreboard because we need to score this, but because it's very thin, it's going to be a bit more of a challenge. So what we need to do, because the card base is essentially 4 1/4, we need to make sure that we leave enough space that the belly band can easily slide on and off. without leaving too much space that it'll just fall off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to score this at 2 because it's easier to calculate. So I know that I need at least 4 inches. So 1, 2, 3, 4 inches, 4 1/4, because that's the width of it. And then I need to leave a little bit more space. So I want to leave a little better than 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to move this out a little bit, and then I'm going to score at 6 1/2. So when I fold on these score lines, so this will be just like this, and it should just slide on. So this is actually cut to 11 inches. So this is 11 inches, and then this is 3 inches wide. You can really use whatever you want. I just liked the look of the thicker belly band in vellum. But I am going to trim off a little bit of this end because this is obviously a little bit better than 4 1/4. So I'm just going to take like 1 inch or so off of that. Set that aside. And then I'm going to glue these together. So to do that, I'm just going to take some of my double-sided adhesive. And I'm going to put some along that edge and then some along this edge. And then I'm just going to put them together, trying to make sure that they stay lined up properly. And we'll just double check and make sure that that just slides on nicely. So now we have our belly band made. I went ahead and pre-cut. This is another one of the, this is this snowflake from the Snowflakes die set from scrapbook.com. I die cut this in an iridescent paper, so I don't know if you can really tell, maybe, but it's really pretty. This is from Michaels, so I will try and make sure that I link to everything for you all. And I just put this on here like this. So this area here is what I use to glue it down, and I just went over it with my double-sided adhesive really lightly, as best I kind of could. Glue doesn't always stick to vellum very well, especially liquid glue. Glue dots work really, really well. I have some mini glue dots. I cannot find them. So I use this instead. So, and I just tried to kind of center it as best as I could. And the size of the snowflake is roughly the width or the height of the paper, of the vellum, so it fits nicely on there. And then using this stamp set like I showed in my previous video, this is the Merry Sentiments stamp set from scrapbook.com, and I just used the Merry Christmas stamp. So I stamped that in Samba ink from Catherine Pooler because I don't know if you can really tell super well, but the snowmen have this cute little red carroty nose. So this is a little bit more of an orangey-ish red that I'm using. So I went ahead and stamped that in the Samba ink. This again is another scrap piece of paper that I had from album making, and I just stamped over that. So on this one, I didn't create the banner look, but I decided that I kind of like that look. So I went ahead and did that on this one. And to do that, I just take small paper scissors. I wouldn't recommend using anything that's like large because it does not cut well. It will kind of like tear the paper. I don't know how to describe it, but the smaller, more detailed scissors work really well for this purpose. And I'm just going to use a strip of this double-sided adhesive from scrapbook.com. So this is foam adhesive. And it works really, really well for these applications because you could just use little adhesive like foam dots or whatever, but I find that this works really well and it was way easier. And then we are just going to put this right over the center of this. And again, you can, you know, kind of do your own thing or whatever works for you. But there we have it. And then we just have to glue these down. So this is just going to go on here. Like that. And then this one will go beside it. Just like that. And then there you have it. So really super cute, different Christmas card. Just, you know, options. And these all come together relatively quickly. So you could, you know, I know it's probably not a typical design for a easily mass-produced card, but because the measurements are all the same, I don't think it would be that hard to mass produce these. And again, this is the reason that I am creating these, is to try and decide what it is that I want to do for my holiday cards this year. So this is one of my options. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, if you are interested in seeing more, don't forget to click on that subscribe button. Thanks, everyone.